Hello, everybody. Thanks again so much for joining us here on Equestrian Tea Time. I'm Isabeau Salas. My co-host is Emma Jacobson. In this episode, we had a really awesome conversation with Gabriella Medeiros. Gabriella runs Catalera Equine in Texas. Gabriella had so many wonderful stories to tell us, including some amazing stories about some of her clients who have made strides overcoming their riding fears, some of her amazing lesson horses. And Gabriella has really hacked the market on finding affordable supplements for your horses for joint, respiratory, and the ever important ulcer supplements. We're going to jump in here on the conversation with Emma and Gabriella discussing school horses. So thank you very much for joining us.
Share a story where school horses' steady presence made a real difference for a student, perhaps turning fear into confidence or helping during a tough lesson.
I would say one of my favorite stories, my clients I think she came here a year and a half ago, but she came to me and she was like, look, I haven't ridden in 6 years because the last time I rode 6 years ago, like she had horses for a long time and everything, like fully involved, did competitive trail stuff, where it's like they're actually outside doing competitive trail obstacles, like walking over giant boulders and stuff like that. Like some really cool stuff. Apparently her horse, the last time she rode, something happened. I think it was going into the canter transition. And bottom line, the student, Believe, almost broke her neck. And so she didn't ride for 6 years because she was just, in pain and terrified. And she's like, but I want to get back into it because she signed herself up for one of those, like, it's this big trail ride in Wyoming that a company puts together, and they do them all over the world and whatever. So she's like, I need to get my riding legs back and my balance and confidence so I can, like, I told myself I'm going to go on this thing. I've paid for it. I need to do this. I was like, okay. So Santiago, I joke around. He's 17 going on 27. If you ask him, he's 27. I was like, well, we'll start you on him and we'll go from there because he's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to do anything stupid. His favorite thing is to either stand there while we chit chat or to just walk around and lollygag. Those are his two favorite things besides, cribbing, cookies, being groomed. Obviously those come first. I mean, day one, she was absolutely fine around horses and everything, but getting on, this poor woman was like shaking her. And once she's on, I think all she did was sit on him the first day because her body was shaking so bad. And she goes, I can feel my heart racing, but I know I'm okay. Like, I know I can trust him and I know I can trust you. So that was where we started day one by her current horse. This woman, I had to convince her to canter when she was ready to canter, really walk her through it and everything. She's got a lot of PTSD. But Santiago's steady presence really, really, really helped her. And she credits him with her getting so far back into things again, where now she has her AQHA gelding that is just wonderful. And when she went to test ride him, it was so cute because she's in the arena test riding him. The whole story is just adorable, but it'll take too long. Mind you, this woman does not, like, sometimes she has a hard time trotting a new to her horse. She was walk, trot, and then cantering this new horse during the first test ride. And I looked at the young gentleman and I said, I think your horse just sold himself. And so he was laughing, but she to this day credits Santiago with getting her back in the saddle, getting her confidence up. Anytime there's someone with a lack of confidence issue, we rely heavily on him. And they really do trust him. And the little kids and even the teenagers, I'm learning, he could be a therapy horse. Like, he just has a wonderful presence.
That's wonderful. I love that horse. He's a saint, really.
He did.
Good temperament for a lesson horse.
How old is he? How long have you had him? How long did it take you to train him? All that kind of stuff. What is he like, this miracle
I
horse?
have his whole life story. Santiago apparently belonged to a married couple. They went through a really nasty divorce. These were his first owners, as far as we can tell. I don't know them. They don't know me. During this nasty divorce, they were fighting over who gets the horse, and he ended up tied to a tree with no food. So then a rescue got him, and they, I guess, got him healthy and everything. And then he was there for a while. I guess I am assuming they did some training on him. I don't really know. And for a bit. And then there was a lady, the lady I bought him from, got him from that rescue for her daughter to be a barrel horse, a huge thing down here. But she very quickly outgrew Santiago's level, because he is just a walk trot for horse for us. He can canter, but there's only one kid that I know that can get him to canter. It's just not for him. He just tells us that's, my body's not going to do that. And it's like, okay, obviously he was just, walk trot, and he has a very slow trot. He's not going to be a competitive trot barrel horse for the Pee-wee division. So they had him posted for sale. They had one of their friends post him, and that friend ran a barrel racing lesson barn, or she still does. And my client at the time was looking for her first horse. This is a different client than the one that I mentioned. And I was like, oh, well, he looks like he's going to be a steady Eddie. Let's go look at him. She didn't fall in love with him, and he was, a little depressed looking, and he could use a couple of pounds for sure. There was some TLC to be done, but I test rode him before I put my client on him, of course. And I remember, he was just so steady. I don't see this horse doing anything bad. So I just got a good vibe from him as far as just being a decent horse. I think it was 2 months later, I was like, you know what? I only have one lesson horse because my program is super, 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 super small. And I was like, I really need a backup lesson horse because she has some health problems. And so I just got a good vibe from him as far as just being a decent horse. I think it was 2 months later, I was like, you know what? I only have one lesson horse because my program is super, 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 super small. And I was like, I really need a backup lesson horse because she has some health problems. And so I contacted them. I was like, hey, do you still have that older Palomino? She goes, oh yeah, we still have him. I was like, all right, I'll take him. So I picked him up and brought him here, and he was so cute. He was so thankful because, in 2 weeks, I put probably, 100 pounds on him. It was awesome. And one day he just came up, and I was filling water buckets. I was kind of hunched over scrubbing, and he comes up and he just lays his head on my back and just takes a deep sigh. And I was like, okay, buddy. And he just laid his head there for a bit. And I was like, okay. And I joke around, we have a love-hate relationship because he must have been proud cut or something. We're pretty sure he pasture bred some mares back in the day, back in his youth. Because if you turn him out with mares, oh Lord. So he has to be in a gelding only, and I had to play a whole game. And so that is his story of how he came to me. When I got him, he had a raging case of thrush because they apparently didn't pick out his feet much. A year and a half to get that thrush under control. We got him up to date on everything. Found what herbs work for him because he is quite arthritic. Thought I was gonna get him hock injections because I knew his hocks were really not good. I'm pretty sure he's going to need hock injections. Let's get x-rays. You tell me what we need to do. And they took x-rays and they were like, we got a 50-50 shot of getting a needle in there. They're fusing. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, should I retire him? That's not a problem. And she actually advised me. She's like, no, keep him in the walk trot lessons. Just monitor his comfort and adjust as necessary. So that's what we've been doing. And honestly, he just gets happier and happier, and honestly, almost sounder. He's more sound now than when I first got him. But he's been a sweetheart. He loves little girls, little kids, especially little girls. Oh my God, he's got a favorite right now, I tell you. He loves babies. There was one client one time, she would have her little girl would begin lessons, but then she had her baby. And if her baby ever got away, was crawling in the sand and got away from her, he would stop. He would look at the baby, look at me, look at the mom, look at the baby, getting our attention to tell us there's a child on the loose. And then once we got the baby, he'd focus on his job again.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it. And I'll have to get a picture of him if we can. I don't know. I can
I,
see the video.
mind you, he is the embodiment of Eeyore, guys. He literally has airplane ears all the time, and he does not wear a cribbing collar. He's a cribber because he gets depressed if I do that, and I can't. Like, he already is Eeyore. I can't have him be depressed. I mean, more depressed. I don't know. Like, and he always has that like puppy eye of like, need a cookie. I'm like, okay.
Caring for school horses means juggling their needs with a busy lesson schedule. What's the toughest juggling you've dealt with, like rehabbing an injury or you breed horses, things like that? How do you juggle those things?
Juggling their needs, the lesson program. I would say probably the toughest juggle I had with rehabbing an injury or something was a farrier that didn't listen to me or my horse's needs, really. So I had a horse, I've recently sold this horse, but he last summer abscessed on his coronary band. It was terrible. He was out of work for like 3 months. I actually had to bring my broodmare into the lesson program, which I was not sure would work out, but she actually ended up being amazing. I was like, oh, thank God. She knew she had to come through for me. So I was using her in the lesson program in his place. She was picking up his slack because the poor guy was just crippled with this abscess that went on for a while. You know, it was a couple of weeks of the abscess, and then I was like, okay, it's busted, and it's like, it's not really that ouchy anymore. He shouldn't be this lame with it. Like, I understand some discomfort until it's healed a little bit more. Like a barefoot practitioner is what they call it, which I am pro barefoot as much as possible. So he doesn't do like regular shoes, metal shoes. He would only do like order special boots or do polymer shoes if needed. And I was literally begging him to put shoes on this horse. I was like, he's a thoroughbred. He's off the track. Like, I think he just has thin soles. No, 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 no. Let's, just give it some time. And, if you put shoes, it's just going to do damage kind of thing. And I'm like, hey, come on, just put the plastic ones on or like anything. Until literally the horse was so crippled. And, this is on me. This is on me for not like just firing him sooner, honestly, and getting a different farrier. But also, we have slum pickings around here, so I was kind of nervous about doing that. And so then one day, finally, he goes, "Oh my God, this horse has paper thin soles. Yeah, but I can't put shoes on because there's nothing to put a shoe on in it. So he's going to need boots." And I was like, you know what? You're not touching him anymore. I'm taking him to the vet. And so I took him to the vet, and we got X-rays. And there was nothing else really going on that says, yeah, just thin soles, and just needs shoes. And now he needs some shoes with pads because it's, been a problem for several weeks now. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I fired the farrier and I got a different farrier, and he has been fantastic since. And that was just learning to pivot. This isn't exactly like a rehabbing a horse story, but this summer, that was last summer, this summer, we had the issue of the lesson program dwindled down a lot. Like, I was thinking about closing up shop because basically everyone's like, oh, we're just going to take the few weeks off or the summer off or whatever. And then like no one was returning. And I was just like, well, yeah. At the time, I think I had like 3 lesson horses, and I was like, and that horse, that needed the shoes being one of them. He's a little high maintenance for a lot of reasons. So I had to learn how to pivot, whether it's an injury, whether it's a tight schedule, to be adaptable and make sure that your clients are pretty adaptable, and make a little note of those that aren't so much, and kind of think ahead on those a little bit more.
Excellent advice. So for aspiring trainers, barn managers, or even ratters who want to give back, what advice would you offer on developing a soft spot for school horses, or helping school horses, or perhaps making a program that is good for school horses?
There's a lot. Number one thing is nutrition. Never, ever, ever skimp on your horses, especially your lesson horses' nutrition. Yeah, they're not jumping the meter 30s or doing the hunter derbies or the Grand Prix dressage. They're not doing these high performance athletic careers, but they are still working hard. They're in the trenches with the beginners and the ones who are still learning, and they're getting bounced on, and they're getting pulled on inadvertently sometimes. And people that aren't balanced, just that lack of balance even takes a toll on their bodies. And it's nothing against the students at all. Like, we have to learn. There's that messy middle part before we really get more proficient and we're not as taxing on the horse's body. And so you have to really look out for your school horses, their daily care. So nutrition, number one, get the highest quality hay you can find, the absolute highest. Don't skimp on it. Make sure they have access to it 24/7, especially if they don't have a nice lush pasture. And then for like feedstuffs or grain, I know a lot of people are right now, it's a really, really big thing to be forage only. I'm not forage only. I am forage-first. So we do have a grain. We use the Bluebonnet Intensify line, so it's alfalfa or beet pulp based. So it's still a forage-first grain, but there is a little bit of grains in it. And I really like that line. Santiago's on the Omega Force, which is almost $40 a bag. And honestly, for your horses to not be skimping, you're going to be paying at least $30 a bag. Don't skimp on it. The quality of the product, just like our human food, although most of us don't eat the best human food, is fine. Horses can eat filet mignon. We can eat the ramen.
Especially equestrians.
I know. Don't skimp on the grain. You don't have to pay for the $80 a bag stuff. I feel like a lot of that is overpriced, but if you're paying, granted, this is going to vary, but the cheapest thing in the store is cheap for a reason. It's a lot of byproducts. It's a lot of crap, a lot of filler. There is definitely something to when those forage only people say, oh, it's a lot of inflammatory ingredients. Yes, absolutely. You want to keep those to a minimum. The other thing is watching out for their wear and tear. Get ahead of it. Don't wait until they're crippled. Don't be like me. No, I'm just kidding. With poor Cooper. That was different. That was an abscess and thin soles. Colette Sussman, she is a great resource. And I've learned from a lot of others as well. But her TikToks, I very vividly remember her TikTok of someone asked, how do you keep your lesson horses sound? Like, what work schedule do you recommend? And she recommended they have 5 days a week of 1 to 2 lessons a day. If it's 2 lessons a day, they do 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. You got to really split it up. And then they have 2 days off in a row. So I stick to that as much as I can. Now, being in deep Southeast Texas, our weather can change on a dime. And we might have to pivot that a little bit here and there. But for the most part, that's the schedule I try and stick to for all of them. Basically, I tell all my clients, my horses have a max of 10 rides a week. And so if they're fully booked for that week, I'm not putting an 11th ride on them. I will not budge on that. You can have an unmounted lesson if you need to make it up that week or something. And then they will get at least 1 full day off. And that's with us having to have pivoted because of, a deluge. We get our random deluges. I call them washouts. It will literally rain so hard that you can't even see in front of you. It's insane. And then of course, finding good therapeutic things for them and educating yourself too. Really get educated on as much as you can on saddle fit. Have a good saddle fitter on hand as well, or several. I have like 3 on hand. And then I can do stuff. And then there's a lot of people that can do it online too, but I have 2 in-person ones. 1 will come out, 1 we have to go to her. It's very hard to find any sort of equine professional in this area, especially when I moved here 3 years ago. And so it's gotten a lot better since then. Make sure they're up to date on their dentals once or twice a year. Learn some basic fascia massage. That's super. It's not hard on your hands or anything. Fascia massage is very easy to do. You just need give yourself like a good 10 to 20 minutes of time. And then I have a student who's now certified in equine massage. And so we're going to be utilizing her for that. And now there's finally an equine chiropractor and acupuncturist that's only an hour south of us. So we're going to be utilizing that. We got a MagnaWave lady that is only 20 minutes north of us. So a lot has come a long way. I would recommend getting all of that done get it done as soon as you get your horse pretty much. And then have that practitioner tell you, hey, this horse, they might need, here's what to look for, or they might need it in 6 months or whatever, and keep up with it. If you're teaching a kid how to post, liniment those backs after teaching those kids how to post.
That's really good advice. And next, I think the next logical question would be, how do you do all that with your crazy weather? You've got crazy heat, humidity, and then apparently there's also like swimming conditions. So.
Yeah, no kidding on that. Well, last year, no, this past spring, I think it was this past spring. I can't remember. My timelines are messed up, but we got a year's worth of rain, and we are borderline rainforest levels of rain, by the way, yearly. And so this past spring, we got a year's worth of rain in less than 30 days. There was water all the way up to my stalls, almost completely washed out my stalls. You know how you have your tall muck boots that come up to your knees, right? I had to walk through the water to get to some buckets that were floating away. And there's water just gushing into my boots. I mean, I nearly floated away.
How do you even keep water out of your barn like that?
We had to pay a guy to bring in dirt and a tractor and like kind of grade it so that water doesn't come up so easy. And so far it's worked. Yay. To get redone in a couple of years. It's fine. The worst thing for us most of the year is just the absolute full heat and humidity combination. Pretty much like 9 months out of the year, we're well above 80 degrees. And for like 3 months out of the year, we're well above 90 degrees with anywhere from 60 to 90 something percent humidity. So what we do is we have, and a lot of places have like up north, you have kind of seasonal schedules because of the daylight issue. So here we have a seasonal schedule more because of the heat issue. So during the heat of the summer, 6 months of the year, the very last lesson will be at 10 o'clock in the morning, sometimes even 9 o'clock, preferably 9 o'clock is the last lesson. And then lessons don't start up again until earliest 5 o'clock in the evening, preferably 6 o'clock. Horses will be hosed before and after lessons, during the heat of the day as well. They'll be cold hosed. It's a lot of hosing. We have to really be careful about looking out for heat stress because they'll very easily go into anhydrosis, which is where they stop sweating proficiently or stop sweating altogether. So if we see that nostrils are flared just standing out in the pasture, we'll make sure that they get into the paddock that has the barn, because the pasture has like shady trees, but the barn has obviously shade, but also fans running. So we'll make sure they have that to go in, and we'll put their hay in the stall that has the fan. So they don't have any reason to leave that stall, because the way we're set up, we don't have a big fancy barn. We just it's a small little barn. It's kind of almost like a run-in, but it works because we don't
More than I got.
Yeah, it's what we've got, and we'll add on. We'll do better. It'll get better. So we'll make sure there's cold water, cool water, and cool fresh water that's clean, and hay in the stalls to encourage the ones that need it to be in a cooled off area. But we try and make sure that they're not locked in there because we do want them moving. That also, I think, turnout is huge to keep them comfortable, because just like with us, if you go and you do an hour workout and you just sit down afterwards, you're going to be more sore than if you were actually walking around, walking around in the grocery store or something. Not only is it better for their digestion and everything, like everyone already knows, but it's also good so that the lesson horses, like, it prevents a lot of soreness. Loose salt in their feed, we do a tablespoon AM feeding and PM feeding, and electrolytes, they will get a serving AM and PM. That is absolutely vital, honestly, all year round, because in the heat, they need the replenishment, and in the cold, they need the electrolytes and the salt, not only to encourage them to drink, but also what little they do drink, because they're going to drink less, it helps them retain that water in their system better. It's fantastic for preventing dehydration and thus preventing colic. Let's see what else. Herbs. I'm a huge fan of herbs. Herbs and different supplements. So like hyaluronic acid is fantastic. It's done such a good thing. It's such a good thing. It's done wonders for Santiago. He does, just on a good nutrition and hyaluronic acid, 200 milligrams a day, that has the same effect as Equiox had on him. Since the lesson program's picking up again quite a bit, I went ahead and put him on a bunch of herbs.
So my question would be, so what brand of HA do you use, hyaluronic acid, and where do you get your herbs from? Are you buying from a specific company or all over the place?
I am a staunch researcher because I have to be frugal. We all know lesson programs don't have very big profit margins. So I came across Audrey Christie on TikTok, and although I don't agree with everything she has to say, that's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. She is a wealth of information, especially on where to get. So like a lot of people love Gut X. Gut X is great. It works. Nothing against it. But or like hyaluronic acid, like Lubricin is hyaluronic acid, and it's great. It works, but it's $100 a month for Lubricin. If you just want something, if you want something marketed for horses, great. But what we do is for the hyaluronic acid, we use bulk supplements on Amazon, and we get the capsules of it. And it's, I think, maybe $25 for a container, whatever of it. It's like 200 and something capsules, and each capsule has 200 milligrams of hyaluronic acid. So you can open the capsule and dump the thing in the feed, or you can just put the capsule in there if the horse will eat it. Most of ours will just eat it, so we just throw the capsule in there and they just eat it like a pellet. Also, wet down your horse's food, guys. Please wet it down and mix it up. Don't let them choke. Also, extra hydration, and then they can't pick through the supplements. That's what we do for hyaluronic acid. For herbs, it depends. So we have one, she's in for training, and she has heaves. Initially, of course, we put her on, which by the way, Gut X is mostly just beta-glucan and hyaluronic acid, and you can get both of those on Amazon for cheap. And the hyaluronic acid, that 200 capsules or whatever, last, I think, one horse anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and it's way more cost effective than Lubricin or whatever. And then beta-glucan, it's the same thing. It has a little thingy, has a little scoop in it, and it's like $22 for like 3 months worth. And usually you're getting higher dosages with that human grade stuff. So the one with heaves, when I was doing a lot of research on herbs for her, we did initially put her on a round of steroids and Benadryl to get it under control. And then I was like, okay, let's try and wean her off of that and put her on some herbs. Just because kind of like I have Santiago on hyaluronic acid because it's not hard on his tummy like what is it called? Which is still better than Butte. So steroids obviously have a lot of, not so great side effects long term. So I looked into different herbs, and the most cost effective for heaves herbs with the most effective herbs at effective dosages was actually silver linings, the respiratory. And they are, I think it was like $80-something, comes out to like $40 a month, but you buy 2 months supply at a time. And so that's worked wonders for her. Honestly, I think she's doing better on the herbs than she was on the steroids. And then she hasn't had any wheezing or any issues lately. She's been doing great. Like 1 week on the herbs and her cough was like gone. And then for the herbs, I have Santiago on, which are basically a bunch of anti-inflammatories. I think it's Smart Pack. I'm a big fan of Smart Pack for ease of use. I know it's a lot of waste, plastic waste, but when you have a big barn, it helps. So not everyone has to be like, wait, what? How many scoops? Oh no, I put it in the wrong bucket. Like it's all just right there. But yeah, bulk supplements on Amazon is great for a lot of things. In fact, I just got in some we got a new surrender horse who supposedly was a lesson horse in the past, and we think she'll make a really good one from what we've assessed. But she seems ulcery. So we're just going to go ahead and put her on some natural remedy for that. If it's bad enough, I'll put them on omeprazole for like 30 days, and then I'll put them on this regime I'm going to tell you, which I got from Audrey Christie. Give credit where credit is due. And we get the aloe vera juice from Walmart. I think like a 2-week supply is like $10 now. A slippery elm for bulk supplements on Amazon. I get the 1 pound package, and then marshmallow root 1 pound package bulk supplements on Amazon. And we'll do a tablespoon of the marshmallow root, a tablespoon of slippery elm, and a cup of aloe vera, and mix it into her feed. And we'll do that until the packages run out, which is at least a month. It's usually a month and a half, and then sometimes I'll do a second round too. And there's no rebound effect on those.
Yep, that's excellent. I have my gelding on at least aloe all the time. And I did find on Amazon I can't remember what supplement company, but I got like a bag of powdered aloe vera extract, and I think it's like a year supply for $20. You mix it with water.
Okay, you might have to send me the link for that because that would be
Okay.
easier than the juice.
Okay, I need the allergy one too. A link to that.
Oh yeah,
That
silver
herb.
linings, respiratory. Got a lot of mullein.
I figured I was gonna ask if there was mullein in it, so I think that might help my mare too.
And it was
excellent. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It was more cost effective to get it from them than it was through to get all the different herbs through bulk supplements. So I just went with them and I was like, great, fantastic, wonderful company. And then yeah, the marshmallow root and the slippery elm are like $22 each, and it's like a month and a half. So instead of having to deal with a possible rebound effect and paying $300 for omeprazole, I'm paying what, maybe $70 total for a month and a half and no rebound effect.
Yep. And the herbs, they just totally can work. And then long term,
It's worth
Crowfate, there's a benefit of like actually healing things most of the time, which is awesome. And yes, we love herbs over here.
That ulcer remedy has worked every single time. My mare was super ulcer prone and would have the rebound effect off omeprazole. And when I did this for 90 days, we haven't had an issue since.
Cavalier Equine, where spirit and sport intertwine. Gabriella Medieros is located in Warren, Texas. She teaches in-person lessons on school horses or with your horse at her ranch or at yours. She also has clinics available and virtual instruction, and we will link her website below. She practices holistic methods and classical horsemanship. Go check her out, and please check out one of our last episodes. Isabel will link it below. Black Horses and Dark Secrets. And please reach out to us if you'd like to be on the podcast. If you have any ideas on how to help a school horse, or you help school horses yourself like Gabby, you can contact us by emailing us at emmajenkinsondressage@gmail.com or at the contact section below. We would love to have you on.